Today's news. Today's
Military
news.
meeting. This speech is about fixing decades of decay. Countdown to a shutdown.
The Democrats won't do the right thing. It's in the president's hands.
U.S. plan to end the war in Gaza.
This is the closest we've ever come to real peace.
Good morning, I'm Steve Kathan. With the CBS World News Roundup, it's an unprecedented meeting of this country's top military leadership going on now at Quantico Marine Corps Base in Virginia. Hundreds of military officers flown in to hear from President Trump.
My message to you is very simple. I am with you, I support you, and as president, I have your backs 100%.
And Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth.
For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons. Based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts.
CBS's Nancy Cordes.
Democratic lawmakers have raised some security concerns here with all of these military leaders leaving their posts at the same time and convening in one very well-publicized spot. Not to mention the cost of flying all of them back to the D.C. area on short notice for what sounds like a pep talk.
President Trump and congressional leaders failed to come to terms at a White House meeting, setting the stage for a government shutdown tonight. CBS's Nicole Killian says it could mean the furloughing or firing of thousands of federal workers.
I think we're headed to a shutdown.
The vice president and congressional leaders emerged from a brief closed-door meeting with President Trump Monday without an agreement in hand.
For the first time, the president heard our objections and heard why we needed a bipartisan bill.
Republicans have proposed a short-term bill to fund the government through mid-November. The measure passed the House this month.
If the Democrats make the decision to shut the government down, the consequences are on them.
But Democrats say any deal must address health care, including an extension of subsidies under the Affordable Care Act to prevent a premium hike at the end of the year. Jamie Biller's husband is in the Coast Guard and, like many service members, won't be paid until a deal is done.
It's another ask for military families to try to navigate. There's a possibility that your member's not going to get a paycheck for the second half of the month. So it's another plate that you have to keep spinning.
A shutdown could impact airports with thousands of TSA employees and air traffic controllers working without getting paid. CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
Back in 2018, we had a 35-day shutdown starting in December. As soon as that first missed paycheck, so think about 2 weeks in, we started to see sick calls from TSA officers really increase at airports across the country. That led to longer lines of checkpoints, so it took people longer to get through security. Some checkpoints had to be closed, and in one case in Miami, they even had to close an entire terminal because there weren't enough TSA officers to staff it.
Now to the Middle East, CBS's Deborah Patta has reaction to the Gaza peace plan unveiled yesterday by President Trump and Israel's Prime Minister.
The proposal calls for an immediate ceasefire, the release of all remaining hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners, the staged withdrawal of Israeli forces, and the free flow of full humanitarian aid by the UN and other bodies. The families of hostages are almost too scared to hope that this time will not end in disappointment. And in Gaza, Palestinians who continue to endure bombardment, hunger, and displacement remain skeptical. If they wanted to end this war, said Nabil Awad, they could have done so a long time ago.
New details on the deadly attack on the Church of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan. CBS's Lana Zach reports a local politician says the man who carried it out had expressed hatred for Mormons.
Authorities have interviewed more than 100 witnesses and victims and are sifting through what's left of the church after what the FBI called a targeted act of violence. Police believe all who attended the Sunday service have now been accounted for, including 4 dead and 10 injured. The suspect was identified as 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford. He had prior arrests for burglary and for operating while intoxicated. Chris Johns, a candidate for local office, told CBS News that Sanford ranted against the church just a week before the attack.
I would say like an extreme dislike. What I garnered was that he had a past interaction with the church that was not positive.
Sanford, a former Marine, was shot and killed by police. It's coming up on 5 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. Today's news. It's 58 degrees in Mountain House, California. I didn't